the B-Man, alongside with
Larry
and
Jesse.
we're here to talk about Thor: The Dark World. So, guys, what you think?
Larry, your first thoughts?
Well, we saw it in 3D. I liked it. 3D was good. Just it didn't add to the movie. First thought, it was okay, but I don't think you necessarily need to pay the extra $5 or what have you.
I agree with that.
I agree.
I definitely, compared to the first one, definitely a lot more story. I thought the first one was, hey, here's Thor, and that's it.
Right.
This one definitely had story elements, and it harkened back to the first one. And I didn't feel I had to see any of the other Marvel movies as much as Iron Man 3 felt it picked up right after Avengers.
Right.
This, it made reference to the other movies, but you could get by without them.
Okay. All right.
Definitely enjoyed it, though.
Okay. What you think?
I'm a huge Thor fan, first off, so not terrible Thor movie. It could be just kind of subpar, and I'd be into it. But that saying, and that's what I felt about the first one, was is a little slow, is more of a character build, like, this is who it is, and really was mainly there to get stuff going for Avengers. But this one definitely picked up, started off, you already know who the character is, you've seen him in 2 movies, like, starts off strong, and then just really builds Asgard as a world more, just really makes it seem like a place. And I just think it was a very solid movie. 3D wasn't necessary. I would say see it in regular,
definitely worth seeing in the theater. Maybe not 3D, but definitely worth $10.
Worth
2D.
I gotta
2D.
see it at full price.
Okay. Well, this is my second Marvel movie I saw in 3D. I saw Wolverine in 3D. I thought that was okay, but at the same time, I feel the same way as you guys. You can see it in 2D and be completely satisfied and be good. I really love the action. I love the little comedy stuff, mostly with Loki and Thor going back and forth. It kind of reminded me of me and my brothers a lot. And like Jesse said, it added more depth and showed a little bit more of Asgard. Unlike the first movie, I was like, okay, what about everybody else? And it's focused mostly on Thor. Here, you get to see everybody do something at least once. So I have to say, I really, really enjoyed the movie. It had a lot of depth to it. Probably one of my most hated things about the movie was the villain. How did y'all feel about that?
Malekith?
Yeah.
Not a fan of him?
Not really a fan of him. I'm not that big on him, and I don't hardly know him, but he didn't seem that much of a threat in the movie.
Well,
I mean,
really, he seemed more of just a force of nature to me. They didn't really build any on the characters. Like, he's some guy from the past. He's, this evil elf, whatever. And you don't really get to know the character at all.
You really don't.
He's played by, the Ninth Doctor? Okay. Christopher Eccleston, the Ninth Doctor. And one of the things we noted, they make a Doctor joke, but it's not close enough to his character. He could have made a Doctor reference.
Joke.
I really wanted him to make a Doctor joke.
Yeah.
But other than that, if you didn't know that guy was that guy, you wouldn't have recognized him through all the prosthetics.
You can barely
and
make it notice it.
That being said, I mean, the character was played well, the acting was well. There just wasn't a lot of depth given to that character. They definitely could do a direct-to-DVD anime backstory on him.
Right.
There's definitely an implied. There's a lot more world to go into.
True.
But
Very true.
and you said on the first one, it didn't really tell you a lot, and I think that's actually good.
In a way.
Because they didn't want to overwhelm, but they could have gone a little further in the first one.
Yeah. They could have.
But I do like that they visited all the characters. You definitely got to find out what happened to them. The only thing that really bothered me that you need to see another one is one of the characters goes crazy because of events in Avengers. Now, if you hadn't seen Avengers, you would have been like, why is this guy going crazy?
Exactly.
And, you know,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that
So-
in Thor 1, I mean, if you saw the first Thor, you should know the character. And you probably, even if you didn't see Avengers, you probably point him out very quickly. But like you said, you probably wouldn't know why he's going crazy in the movie.
Definitely.
So,
yeah. And yes, there was a lot of comedy in some of the fight scenes. It was a little heavy-handed, yes.
It was.
Some of it was
But
a
I
little
mean, the jokes
unnecessary.
were good, but
They
there
just-
definitely was a lot of them that were kind of forced in there. And the fact that they did actually have some well-written jokes,
right.
it did make the badly written jokes stand out more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's...
And also, I feel like there's a good point for comedy in a movie about beginning to mid, you know. But when you're getting to like the climatic end of a movie, like, why would you halt it with like even not the best
See,
jokes of the movie, you know, sort of
exactly.
thing?
And
Exactly.
part of that, to me, has that superhero banter feel to it,
Yeah.
which I think is actually appropriate for a comic book movie. It gives it a comic booky feel, you know.
Right.
But I don't know if it's necessarily something appropriate to Thor's character.
I don't think
I
it
don't
works
think it
with
is either.
him, really. I mean, there were
But I
unnecessary
definitely
ones.
could have seen those kind of jokes with
Right.
Avengers.
Oh, yeah,
definitely
of course,
good.
Of
yeah.
course.
The Loki character's jokes I thought were amazing,
They
and
were.
Loki almost stole the show.
Literally. I think he did again. This is
you know.
another movie where Loki pretty much stand out. Even I mean, I don't mean to spoil it for everybody, but he's not
Well,
in the movie completely, but when he's there, you're like, yeah, Loki, woo!
Well, yeah, I mean, if you've seen the trailers and stuff like that, I mean, Malekith is the villain of the movie. Loki
True.
is there because, I mean, it's you
yeah,
can't
I
have
mean,
a Thor
it's not
movie
a spoiler. I mean,
without
completely
Loki.
without
heck,
Loki.
Disney is
Exactly.
sending out shirts that say "Free Loki." You know, you got to know he's going to be brought up in the movie. I
Exactly.
don't think that's a spoiler.
Yeah.
And to know that Malachi and Christopher Eccleston, you know, are in the movie, you know, or are parts in the movie, I wouldn't call that a spoiler even.
No.
Yeah, you can find that
and-
stuff out on IMDb now.
Right,
Pretty much,
and
pretty much.
trying to stay spoiler free, I would say the twist at the end, kind of, you know, the way it ended, you know, I wasn't surprised by it.
Right.
I like how they did it,
Mm-hmm.
but it was predictable, slightly. But you know, I don't think that was really. That was like at the end of the movie, they threw in a little bonus, you know, and then of course after the movie, after the credits, they throw in a bonus, which definitely was a little more. They did two of them this time. The first one was definitely for the hardcore comic book fans to
Exactly.
get the reference.
Exactly.
And it builds. It's a building.
Yeah,
element.
exactly. And it gives you a little teaser into things to come years down the road.
Exactly.
Or movies down the road. Whereas the second one was just a nice comedic bonus, I thought.
Yeah.
I did too.
And I did like it's like, well, it leaves you with the questions that you assume the answers to, but here, just in case you didn't assume that this was going to happen, it happened. Boom.
There you
And
go.
then here's another joke.
There you go.
You know,
A nice
so
little-
they were worth sticking around for, I think.
Yeah,
Pretty much,
definitely
pretty
stick around
much.
to the end, especially if you're really into comics and know your stuff, and also
If you're into the Marvel movies and
If you stayed
you've
behind
seen them all, you
Exactly.
definitely want to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
pretty much.
I
mean,
definitely, it's worth seeing in the theaters. Even if, like, I wouldn't have if somebody asked me that about Avengers, I would have said, eh. I was more engrossed into this movie than Avengers. Avengers
Okay.
didn't get me engrossed into it.
Mhm.
I thought, you know, Robert Downey Jr., you know, he's a good character, and I think he kind of overpowered the movie, and
He did.
it separate.
true.
You know, just made me want to go watch Iron Man. That's watching the Avengers made me want to go watch
It
Iron
was like
Man.
I'd rather
Avengers
watch
with
And-
Iron Man.
over Iron
And
Man.
well,
Yeah.
here's the thing:
Yeah.
it made me disappointed. It was just like a teaser Iron Man. It made me disappointed that I wasn't watching an Iron Man movie.
Mm-hmm. I can see.
Just as a big fan of the Iron Man movies,
Yeah.
it didn't sell me on the other characters enough.
Right.
Whereas this one, I definitely got into it all the way. I was involved in all the characters. I wanted to know how everybody, turned out in the end. Definitely worth seeing in the theaters.
It is. It's very satisfying. I think it was worth looking at. And I think even afterwards, even when the DVD comes out, I think you should buy it on Blu-ray.
Yeah, it's one I would pick up.
Yeah,
I think the first one, not so much. This second one, Dark World, I'm gonna watch it probably more than once.
Yeah. Maybe to kind of get couple of little things that maybe you missed or something. Yeah. That's the reason why I would watch it again.
And the special effects were really good.
Oh,
but
definitely.
I wouldn't have called it a special effects movie in the fact that the special effects didn't scream out, hey, this is computer graphics or
so
whatever.
So you're saying it wasn't an Abrams movie? Or?
Right. They felt
There
very
you
natural. Go. Even like in the world, the Asgardian world, they felt very natural. It felt very believable. I thought they were done really well.
Yeah.
Mad props to the CG people on the movie.
It was great.
And it's like the whole Photoshop thing. The point of Photoshop is to make it so you don't look like you didn't need Photoshop.
Exactly.
Sometimes movies like The Matrix, the special effects are part of it, and they take away from the story part of it because you're so amazed by the special effects.
Right.
The special effects were really good, but they fit in there in a way not to distract from the story. I think
definitely.
Now I rewatched Thor beforehand, and it was good. It introduced me to the setup, but honestly, I think I could have got by having never seen any other Marvel movie. I could watch this one solo. I can't say that for all the Marvel movies, and I think this actually puts it slightly above average on the Marvel movies. The fact that it can stand alone.
Right.
Yeah, true.
Where would you put it along with the other Marvel movies? Can you say it kind of stands up there on the top 5 along with Avengers maybe being...
I liked it much better than Avengers as far as I enjoyed it.
Wow.
But that being said, I'm not a super Avengers fan.
Right.
The movie was okay. I just wasn't that thrilled with it.
Okay.
I thought the storytelling and direction of the visual storytelling aspect of the fight scenes were sloppy and haphazardly put together.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that from this. I thought they were much better put together. You really knew what was happening in the fight, even though it was chaotic and there were people flashing around here and there of chaos in the Avengers, but you didn't get a sense of what was going on.
Right. It was just...
You definitely got the chaos here, but you knew what was going on.
In Avengers, it was pretty much just a bunch of superheroes beating a bunch of aliens. And that
Right.
was it. I mean, there was no real point to it. I was like,
I could have been watching a WWE Royal Rumble.
Exactly.
To me, the Thor franchise hadn't been set until this movie. This made the Thor franchise
a franchise.
Yeah, legitimately.
Right.
Yeah. Whereas Captain America was good, and it established that this could be. It did well. It could be a franchise. I wasn't sold on Thor being a franchise. Just as I assumed that the other movie was just going to be something to introduce them, but this, I think we can legitimately see a Thor 3, and I can expect good things out of it. Any other final thoughts?
Other than that, I can just tell you need to go see it for yourself. I mean, check it out. It's going to be a good ride.
Comes out Thursday, Friday?
I believe this Friday.
Friday.
I know some theaters are doing a marathon where you can see like Thor, then Avengers, then at midnight see this.
I wouldn't recommend that. From doing marathons like that, by the time the new movie's on, you're tired. You don't have the energy.
You're done. You don't want to watch anything else. You want to go home, eat a sandwich, and go to bed.
I mean, if you did want to do that, I would say, watch, like if you were to go home, watch Thor, on Wednesday, watch Avengers on Thursday, then
That
watch
would
that
work.
Friday.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, just
that
kinda
would be
set
good.
yourself
Just
up.
kind of remind yourself. I really like to do that more than the marathons.
Exactly. Kind of get yourself prepared for the movie itself.
Refresher course.
Exactly.
Sort of thing.
Exactly.
Feel free to let us know what you think, agree or disagree in the comments after you see the movie.
Right down
Feel free to click subscribe, share this on your Facebook page. Any kind of, sharing this with your friends definitely helps. Let us know what you think. Are we idiots? Are we just, placating and, Disney and Marvel?
Well, probably all of those things.
Yeah, I have to say all
You
that
know,
above
and,
on that one.
well, I definitely liked the movie. I thought it was a good movie, even if you're not a comic book fan. And let me say, I've never read a Thor comic book. Never
Me
read
neither.
a Thor comic book. Still enjoyed the movie.
See y'all
All right.
later.
Good night, Elaine.
Good night, Elaine.
Oh, yeah.
How can we forget?
How could we
Good night,
forget?
Elaine.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
I mean, that's almost as bad as Jules.
Without Christian, he would have had it.
Oh, yeah, and hi, Jules and Christian, who decided what work was more important than
suck.
seeing a movie 2 days early.
suck.
For free, even.
A free movie.
With your friends.
He could have got a free ride on top of that.
Didn't even have to drive, just had to be here.
Damn.
Ah.